Mark, you're right, sir. Oh, this is the first time I've seen it. My wife told me about it. Dear Mark, I'm grateful for your contribution to our work to build back a better America. And it's signed by him. I don't do it for this reason. There's the letter from the president. But Jaime Harrison is the head of the Democratic National Committee. And he had contacted me, and he came out to the House one time. He came out, Eric Swalwell came out. Who was the third politician that came out? Doesn't matter. My point is that I established a relationship with Jaime, and he asked me, would I be able to help in any way for Democratic candidates? And I said, well, whatever I can do, of course. I've always been interested in government and politics since before I could vote. I'm old enough to remember when John F. Kennedy was running against Richard Nixon. I was 8 or something, and my dad was a Nixon guy. And I said to my mom, I said, how can Dad be for Nixon? Kennedy's so much better. And I had no political view. I just saw, when I looked at Kennedy, he was beaming with positive energy. He was funny. He was handsome. He was personable. And then I'd look at Nixon, he was glowering and, he reminded me of a scary teacher at school I didn't like. So it had nothing to do with politics. It was just my base reaction. I remember my mom saying, don't tell Dad, but I'm voting for Kennedy. He's such a versatile and complex character that different actors accentuate different things. So I was just knocked off my feet by Heath Ledger, because I thought, my gosh, because my Joker is sort of old school comic book. He has a glee in creating chaos. He loves what he does, and he enjoys tormenting Batman. So to see Heath Ledger playing him joyless and almost like a heroin addict with that creepy tongue. I mean, I never would have thought that would be a way to go, but it was hugely effective. And I know Jared Leto got criticism, but I thought there were elements of his Joker. Every Joker I've seen, I thought, oh, I wish I'd thought of that. Amazing. And it was almost unconnected in a way to comic books. I don't think they ever mentioned Batman. He's almost just like a psychopath living in our world. Again, it's a very interesting approach. Kevin had never read a comic book in his life, so he was really starting at ground zero with no preconceived notions. And one of the things I admired so much about his performance is the way he delineated his Bruce Wayne from Batman. His Batman is considered by many fans to be the Batman for them. When they read the comic books, they hear his voice. But he, as Bruce Wayne, affected a much higher pitched, sort of vapid, clueless voice, which I think he did almost more successfully than any other actor that's played the part. The definition between the two characters was so distinct. And he was wonderful, just a wonderful person. He loved the fans as much as they loved him.
There's a lot more people that showed up for my star.
Mark, right here, Mark.
Yes, I can't wait to see it. It's so funny that people say, oh, they criticize him, oh, he's too old. What do you mean he's too old? I mean, I would go see Sean Connery play James Bond if he were 90. It's just the perfect part for the perfect actor. So I can't wait. And it's just a different time in Indy's life. It's in his later years. And though that can be just as exciting as 30 years ago or whenever it was. There you go. All right.
Get one shot with him real quick. We'll be really.
Here we go.
Here we go. One.
I play his father in a movie called The Machine that's coming out next year. It's wild. I mean, I've never read anything like it. It's beyond outrageous. I mean, I said, this thing will either be an instant cult classic or the biggest misfire of all time.
Mark, to your left, sir, to your left. There you go.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, can we get...
When I read it, I said, how can they do this? It's so horrific. Blood and guts, and you don't want to know. It's so over the top. I said, Mike, in many ways, this is so outrageously over the top. It's almost funny. And he said, oh, good, you got it. I mean, he understands the comedic elements in doing something that's so boldly horrific. And that's the Fall of the House of Usher.